It has been a while since the first blood drops started to spill, and so I, the illustrious Count Andrei Constantine Vladesco Vargish, have decided that a recap is in order. I should have been checking in with the fellow Darklings, my dearest of guests, sooner, but I've been a bit preoccupied. Anyway, here's what has happened so far. I invited 17 guests to my home of Castle Bloodmoon due to their talents and esteemed reputations. But 16 of them were also rumored to be rather wicked, so I added a stipulation to my invitations. Any blatant disrespect to me, my servants, or my home would mean removal from Castle Bloodmoon. I paid everyone's way by train, so I was kept well informed of what was happening during the train ride, and I also watched some of them more closely through the mists. A useful ability I have at my disposal. Through the mists I saw that Henry, my most cherished of the 17 guests, had a crush on me. And I saw Reginald, the painter, start a fight with him on the train because of his dandyism. This enraged me and forced me to make an appearance on the train that very night. I teleported where Reginald was sleeping and drank some of his blood, because yes, I am a vampire. So I simultaneously took control of his mind. Then I mended the teeth marks on his neck so there would be no trace of what I had done, and while his mind was still under my control, I forced him to hang himself somewhere all the passengers would see his corpse in the morning. This caused panic among them, but they shook it off and continued to make their way to my castle regardless. None of them except for Henry, a fellow sodomite, was okay with the fact that there are rumors that I favor men, and so all 15 of them demonstrated blatant disrespect for my lifestyle as they made their way up the hill to my castle, thus violating the agreement in their letters and sealing their fates in the process. For when I said that any blatant disrespect would spell removal from my home, what I really meant was that any disrespect guarantees death. I had decided that Henry must also die, but in a not as permanent manner, because I want him to be eternally mine. I welcomed the guests as soon as they arrived, and went even further as to shamelessly flirt with Henry, and to proudly confirm the rumors of my homosexuality. Afterwards, I gave professional condolences concerning Reginald, and shared the results of his autopsy, as well as future plans for his burial. All of my guests seemed to understand, except for Gregory, the writer who kept insisting that Reginald's death was an ill omen. He then called me the devil's concubine and stormed out of my home. In response, I took control of his mind and forced him to walk in front of an oncoming train. Now only 15 guests still breathe, but I am just getting started. And now that we are all on the same page, on this issue. February 4th, 1904. A few months have passed since my guests arrived at Castle Bloodmoon, and I've since gotten quite familiar with Henry, and find myself thinking back to my darkened past. When I became a vampire all those many years ago, it was an act of kindness from the one who turned me. But first, a man who I now know to be a Voidian cultist had fatally wounded me and left me for dead with the help of his accomplices. I was ready to die, but a vision of Snow White asked me if I wanted to survive instead. The bleeding stopped and time was frozen as he explained to me my two choices if I said yes. One, he said he could simply revive me and then be on his way. Or two, he could make me something more should I agree to his terms and conditions. After hearing him out fully, I agreed to join him, and just like that, Crimson made me into what I am today, a vampire. Should I prove myself, I may become something more, but I'm grateful for his kindness as it is already, and am always happy to work with him. Inviting these 17 guests was his idea. It was to give me more blood for my reserves, and to kill off some truly wicked personalities who are better off dead. But when he told me to invite Henry, he must have been playing matchmaker. I'll have to confirm with him if that's the case, because if so, then sweet Henry won't have to fully die after all, and I can proceed with my desires to make him mine. But speaking of this, Eric Jonathan Leiford died peacefully in his sleep last night. I gave the poet a poetic death, then I stopped his heart from beating. Now I have to inform the other guests that his death was truly heartbreaking. Anyway, to the calls. Count Andrei Konstantin Vladesco Varg.